FH9. FH9 black. We'll open that. Let's open this obvious cocaine up first. You can tell I do unboxings because that's how you do that. Don't try to cut the edge, just do a big X. Woo! Pasta Apos. Pasta Singxer. I haven't had a Singxer thing since the SI1. That's right, they did ask me about it. This is an interesting piece of equipment, if it's the piece of equipment I think this piece of equipment is, yes. It's the SU6 handbook. Off-center print for love reasons. Okay. After getting the machine, please check whether the appearance of the machine is complete and the accessories are complete. The standard Mingwei power supply adapter, global voltage amplifier, 85 265 volts, positive. Windows system needs to install the driver. Okay, let's see what this is. Power plug, standard. The Wing Fei. Ooh, Meanwell. Here's the thing. Here's how you know something's good. Meanwell is a brand I think Own uses it. The new Own stuff uses it. But you know who used it before that? The IT Man. IT Man. Because he's like, this is the best brand of power supply. And that was like 6 years ago. So the fact that the company is actually using a brand, that like Meanwell is a brand name. It's a brand name power supply, just like Geshelli Labs uses that company they use, the GUI or one. They figured it. They did the research. They looked at it. They've tested it. It's the best one they found. They don't need this sort of power, so they're doing this one. But God, this is a stiff fucking cable. I mean, it honestly makes sense to use an external power supply because if you're an audio company, if you're starting out, you want to design a power circuit too, or you just want to go with something that you know is 99.9% as good as whatever you would design? That is so stiff. What kind of power output does this thing have? 7.5 volts, 2.93 amps, 22 watts. I've never had such a stiff cord. Oh, giggity. I'll go to the doctor. Look at that on the very poorly set up spacing here, but a nice USB cable, actually fabric covered. And come on, unscrew, you prick. It's fabric covered. It's a Ugreen. That's another brand. Ugreen's on Amazon. So they're not just throwing in generic shit. They're throwing in, well, generic stuff that's actually name brand. It was wrapped up too to not have jank. What size that I had? That metal heads. And so far we got some good wiring going on. And now the unit. Okay, this is the unit I was thinking about. Let's move this over to the side. So, this is rather unique in the market. This is the sort of shit that Singxer is making before the SI1. I sort of went backwards. This is an older unit, but this is what Singxer was known for. So, black machine. Let's peel that off. We have got a touch panel in the front. Power, then there's a play, which I don't understand that. And then there's a DSD circle. There's 3 circles. We have got dip switches. That's a HP 13 through 16, MCWCK, X2, DSD channel, B channel, LRCA, DACH. So those are settings. This thing's very cold, by the way. And then here's your power in, 7.5 to 9 volts. Here's your world clock or M clock, AES, SPDIF1, SPDIF2, SPDIF3, which is a fiber optic. So you got BNC coaxial fiber optic. II2S, I2S1 is a fucking Cat 5. Then I2S2 and I2S3 are HDMI and then the USB in. So this is an audio bridge. You're supposed to feed it. All these are outputs. Everything here is an output, and this is the only input. There's no analog. This is what Singxer was known for. It was USB in. Plug it. I'm going to have to plug it in, install a driver. Lord help us, we can find it and be fine. And then it's going to output all of this. It's going to output a world clock, which means I could use that with the Own. It's going to output AES. It's going to output 3 different SPDIFs. It's going to output 3 different II2Ss. So I could have fancy ass DAC, fancy ass DAC. I have no idea how to hook this up, but if I could, fancy ass DAC, 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 and then world clock to a DAC. So I can hook up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 DACs to this unit via one USB output, and it won't just be like fiber optic splitters. So I'm like, hell yeah, that sounds like it's right up my fucking ball game. The problem is it's USB, and you know what? Because currently, the way I'm doing it on my review rig downstairs is the Pi Hat, which is just wireless over the network. It's just a box that sits wirelessly and gives me 2 coaxial digitals, 1 fiber optic, and an II2S, and an AES. It gives me 5. So this would actually give me more, and it would be directly wired. It wouldn't rely on the network. But I really don't need it to be moving around, so I could legitimately swap this out. And then I could use a couple of the DACs I have downstairs with that, with multiple II2Ss. I gotta figure out how to use this Cat 5 one. So yeah, and they would only require 1 device to drive all my digital outputs. So this is going to be interesting. Interesting. Do I need to set up, like I set this up on my desk and try to run it off USB? Big heavy things. So now let's see what this is. The power cable obviously is not important. But yeah, so not the most exciting audio product. Like, you're not gonna be like, this makes my headphones sound so much better. But the fact that I'm gonna say that word real interestingly, professionally gives you all those digital outputs in a box. I think it's worth $600 or something. I don't think that was a cheap unit. Is this package magic? What the fuck is going on here? I'm unsure. Oh, Jesus, yeah, it rolls all the way around. That is, in my many years of unboxings, I have not, that's a weirdo. You're a weirdo. And of course they cover the X with the quality control pass thing, so I can't just like, so now, crack that open and then get access to another box. Which I hope I don't drop the... Okay, so now I got this box. There's the FiiO thing. So this has to be the ESS version of the K9, which you've watched me actually unbox the K9, but now it's the K9 Pro ESS, which apparently has a little bit more power and uses dual processors instead of single processors, because the AKM only has single processors. I don't know. I don't understand. I know why you need to go from AKM to ESS. Well, actually, I don't. Did they just start developing this before the AKM fire? So I have to give this a listen now, comparing it to my Corone wallpapered FiiO K9 review. It's going to look exactly the same. If you didn't see my review on the K9, go watch the review of the K9. It came out like last week. Oh, that's bad. Yeah, the unit just pooped out. I take the garbage out today. Oh, fucking brick. Just like its predecessor, fucking brick. We are set to 230, which I'm going to rectify now. There we go. Using this key puller. Set to 115. That's what this big piece of paper is for. It says, hey, don't fuck up. Look at that. Yeah, identical. So you got 1/4 inch, you got 4.4, you got a cap over the 4-pin XLR. The switches that are too small, digital buttons. This is gold around here instead of silver. Good. It's a good way to differentiate. So they put gold metal around the glass instead of silver. The back looks the same, Bluetooth coaxial. This thing is fucking cold. Optical 4.4 output, line inputs, line outputs, balanced output. There you go. I'm gonna let that sit right there and warm the fuck up. Holy shit. It's like 10 in the morning and that things are sitting outside. There's no way it was out there last night. I check every night. DHL, best delivery service, by the way. I think this is just going to be a power cable. We'll double check. Ooh. Oh, that's new. We didn't get that option last time. See, that's why it's got no rubber feet in it. So it's got rubber feet, or is that the only one? Did they only give you one for this whole thing? How do they want that to stay? There should be 2 of those. Why are there not 2? USB, 1/4-inch adapter, Bluetooth antenna, and the European power plug, which they told me they only had the European power, or the 220 power plug, and I'm gonna have to provide my own power plug, and I'm like, there you go. So I'll keep this around in case I ever need to plug into a European power plug. Put that back on there. So I was like, yeah, baby, I got this. Don't worry, FiiO, I got this. So yeah, so that is so big. Fused, UK and CA. Canada? Canada doesn't run this shit. It's got nice grips on the side. Should I change my house? You know you could change your whole house over to 220, right? In America? You can. Like 220 comes in. You just have to just rewire everything to be 220. Interesting. I don't like the fact that only one of those... I guess that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put it like just at the front. And it sort of like leans it up. I mean, it works. It's not... I don't feel like it's going to fall over, and then you'd have the access to the side USB. Side USB. That's an interesting little addition. They let you turn it sideways. You know what? I didn't even consider that. But I approve of that new thing. That might actually work great on my desk now. All your plugs on the bottom, the knob, it's in perfect space, and you'd have an easier access to the switches. Look at these nice feet they come with too. I could put feet on the side if I felt like it. The only problem is it's hard to put a waifu unless you put the waifu right in front and say fuck it. Say fuck it. All right, enough of this unboxing. Back to cleaning up glass and doing my laundry and taking out the trash and buying milk and finishing reviews, and oh my god, today's gonna be busy. This arrived in my mailbox, and I'd love to show you the other side with my address is on it, but it's covered in Russian, and it says Cyprus Krubis, $3.40 or 3.4, because it's not €3.40, it's 3.4 euros. And this is literally the envelope you're supposed to stick on a package to then put a label in, but they use the whole thing as an envelope. And it's the weirdest thing, and I have no idea what it is. What kind of Russian anthrax? What's the new variant? So, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Like, I don't. Customs declaration from Cyprus. Paphos. Cyprus post. Gift. Okay. We are now entering the shadow zone. Do I have enough time to spell out my last will and testament? Give everything to Chewbacca. Chewbacca buried? Bury it. Oh! The guy was gonna send me... Oh, that's right. There's a headphone cable. And apparently it's from Russia. So let's undo this. Pasta, you're gonna have to ask me where the fuck you can get this, because I don't even know. Somebody was just like, hey, I'm making headphone cables, want me to send you one? I'm like, sure, I'll take a look at it. 4.4 Pentacon, aluminum. Actually, the guy will probably message me and say, hey, did it arrive? And then I'll know who the hell it was, because it's just 500 messages going on. So 4.4 Pentacon with red spacers. A little bit loose on the weave, but it's nice and flexible. If it's too tight, it doesn't flex as nice, so I'll take it slightly looser than super tight. Zero Views colors, which are yellow and black. And we'll get to the center in a second. So the tops are 3.5 millimeters I requested. A little heat shrink on this in the show right versus left. Also, nice stainless steel. A little bit weighty, actually. You could see them flopping around. That's nice. And then the helmet, it's literally like a is it Roman? Greek? It's a helmet. Like the split here, he put on a helmet. That's kind of cool. Did he actually glue it? Because it doesn't feel like it wants to move at all. So yeah, the Spartan helmet, Spartan. Cyprus, Sparta, maybe that's what it is. And these are also very loosely twisted together. Like you can pull them apart. And it's not easy to do because you gotta like, you can't twist. You have to like literally place them like this to twist them over to do that so I don't get all fucked up. Interesting. I almost want to, you know what? I'm not going to say anything because I'm like, well, I kind of want a little bit stiffer than this or tighter weave, but I bet you it's going to be comfy as fuck. And it's not really like, it's not going to fall apart. We'll find out. Also, this is probably going to stab me in the chest. So this might get blue tack all over it. That is a cool little thing. And it came with a little leather strap. So pasta, I'll keep that and throw that away. And I got to figure out a pair of headphones to put this on. And I'll be the baddest ass motherfucking badass. With the badassness. With the badassness. Put that down. Let's clean up.